And welcome to another edition of Between the Posts. TJ here with Koutsy. Welcome back 2 weeks in a row, mate.
Yes, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Star of the show, this young man. Does great things. Now, you're doing some special segments today. Take us through them. What are you doing with Tony?
Yeah, so it's Koutsy and the Cowboy this week. We're going to cover all things Div 1 for the first 10 weeks. We're doing what caught our eye as well as our top 5 predictions pre-season and now.
Beautifully done. Of course, yesterday you were at Salisbury North and Teacher Gully for, I don't know what it was like in the commentary box. It was bitterly cold yesterday and you've come up with a bit of a cold. Is it a result of yesterday's condition?
It was icy.
I
had a thermal, a singlet and a jumper and I was still cold at some points.
Yeah, I wish I was out there playing. It was that cold. I had to put the big jacket on and get in the sun. But a good day all round. Now, of course, thanks to all our great sponsors, and it was Sponsors Day at Tea Tree Gully. So in Division 1, we're going to have a look at some of our great sponsors because they're at Tea Tree Gully. And it was a good day all round. Look, it's a huge show. All our regular segments, of course, will be on. Goal of the Week, Mark of the Week, Coach of the Week, coming from Division 1. Of course, the Koutsy and the Cowboy Special Edition. All that and much, much more on this week's edition of
Between the Posts.
Welcome back to Between the Posts, BTR Excavation Division 1 report time. Back 2 weeks in a row, Koutsy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tommy. It's great to be here.
Let's actually, we'll just start with the great man Darren Francis from BTR. Got a chance to catch up with Darren Francis yesterday in the Tea Tree Gully Sponsors Day. He sponsors obviously this segment, so we thank you so much, and Tea Tree Gully in the league. And thank you, Darren, for your support. It was really nice to have a chat with you yesterday. But now you're kind of filling in a little bit for Jack Banwell. Now, Jack Banwell, I cane him in the tips, and just checking in last week, I think you went, you didn't tip Ross Trevor, you didn't tip Glenunga, and you didn't tip Salisbury North. Salisbury North let me know about it. They said, you tell that kid, 2 out of 5, a good effort, but I got the 5 out of 5, just because I take great pride in beating a 13-year-old kid. All right, otherwise he's outstanding. All right, that's enough about me. Let's talk more about me. No, let's talk about Athelston and Ross Trevor, mate, that first one. And it was a pretty good tip with you because if Athelston had a kick straight, they would have won. 7 goals, 18-60. Ross Trevor, 9-10-64. That's 5 more scoring shots, but they didn't get the chocolates. Goal kickers, McCormack with 4 and Jet Boxer with 3 for Ross Trevor. Jed Russell with 3 and Santillo of the Caroline variety with 2 for Athelston. And you've seen both these teams so far this year, haven't you?
Athelston, no. Ross Trevor, yes.
I haven't seen Athelston yet, but you've seen Ross Trevor, and I think you saw Ross Trevor last week. Did you do the Salisbury North Ross Trevor game?
No.
No, that wasn't you, sorry. But you've looked at Ross Trevor. They've bounced back. They're a quality team, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely they are. With their key forwards, Boxer, McCormack and Wakeland. And then their midfielders like Shoot and Murata and others. And then their strong defence. They're just a really well all-rounded team. Yeah,
and of course Transfer are doing very good things in the medal. Looking at the scores throughout the day, it was Athelston leading by 6 at quarter time, 14 at half time. Rocks arresting the lead by 2 points and then just hanging on the last quarter by 4. But 7-18, without being rude, Athelston only got themselves to blame, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, 7-18 is not going to cut it, unfortunately, and to only lose by 4 points, they definitely should have won it.
If you kick 18 points, you probably don't deserve to win, but luckily for Port last night, they got the chocolates. I just wanted to get that in because I know you're a Crows man. Sorry, mate, I'm done. So after quarter time, it was the Athelston Raggies kicking 4 goals, 16. If we look at that, if they had just kicked 5 goals, 15, which in itself is terrible kicking, they would have got up by a point. And great to read the commentator's notes telling me it was a battle of the boxers. Jet Boxer against his brother, and Jet Boxer with last quarter goals got the bragging rights, and the win. Ross Trevor now sit top. A week's a long time in football. 5-goal loss last week. Good win, 4-point win this week. All of a sudden, they're top. Watch out for the Rocks. Mate, it was a good game and it would have been tough to give votes. Where did we land?
So 1 vote Mitch Grigg to Athelston, 2 votes Thomas McCormack for Ross Trevor, and 3 votes to Xavier Tranfer from Ross Trevor.
Yes, he does. We're going to look at our Player of the Year votes later on, but he leads all comers. Our next one was your game, so you'll speak mainly about this one. It was Tea Tree Gully 8-12, Salisbury North 10-10-70, a 10-point win to the Hawks. Same amount of scoring shots. Goal kickers, Ant Hellbout with 4 and Wilson with 2, whilst Tea Gully, Creshman with 3, Latham with 3, Pistol Pete Personos with a couple. Salisbury North shot out the blocks 3-2-0. I thought, oh, you'll be able to, but it was a tough game, mate. You were there. Take us through your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it was just inaccuracy again for Tea Gully, and that's really a common thing this week. I mean, Noah Hyde, 0 goals, 3. Darcy Spire, 0 goals, 3. So, fortunately, just inaccuracies cost the team once again. And Hellebuck kicking 4 goals for you guys is an absolute gun. Brody Latham getting Koutsy's call for his insane specky, and he took 2 of them too.
It was right in front of me, that specky. It was a beauty, a worthy winner of Koutsy's call. Let's have a look at that man. Number 22 from the Gullies, and his dad was pretty happy about it too, Brody Latham.
Tea Gully yet to score as we're 5.5 minutes in. Do they come high and long to the wing? Who's going to fly? That could be it. Brody Latham, if you don't mind. What do you reckon, Koutsy? That's got to be close.
Yeah, I'm right.
To mark of the day.
Yeah, well done, Brody. He got very high there. Yeah, mate. So I guess it was neck and neck all day, but I think, and I'm not checking any scores here. I reckon in that last quarter, Tea Gully kicked 1 goal 6 in a row, and they just couldn't quite hit the big sticks down at the what end would that be? The southern end.
Yeah, well, you were correct. They kicked in the last quarter 1 goal 7.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, but last quarter just unfortunately doesn't cut it, and sometimes inaccuracy. It was only a 10-point loss, so if 2 of those points were converted to goals, it would have been a draw, and then 1 more, they would have gone to win. But
yeah,
Salisbury North proved too good.
Interesting to note as well, Salisbury North held them off. They couldn't quite get their nose in front, and as often happens when you have all the play, it goes down the other end just once, and Kobe Wilson takes a big clutch mark, plays on, kicks the goal, and then it felt like probably from there Salisbury North would be able to hold on. So it was a great win. And Hellbout was a player in focus for Tony Neal yesterday. He kicked 4. Tell me a bit about his game.
Yeah, well, it was a very well all-rounded game, to be honest. He didn't have a bad quarter, didn't have an outstanding quarter. He was just, I reckon he nearly kicked 1 goal every quarter probably, because his performance was just really well all-rounded and very well stated.
Yeah, it was. Look, you've got to win ugly sometimes if you're gonna go all the way. And I'm not saying Salisbury North will go all the way, but in the third quarter, about the 20-minute mark, Tea Gully actually did hit the front, and they really looked like they were coming. And then it was 3 goals to finish the quarter in the third. Ultimately, that probably made the difference, and some really irrepressible football. Looking at actually also, well, before we go into the best players and votes, I just want to. It was Sponsors Day at Tea Gully, and I got a chance to meet the man, Sam Doman, I should say it properly, who is a fantastic sponsor of the league, Tea Gully, and of What Caught Our Eye, which you did today. Just get a photo up if we can. I was with Sam and the Prez. They invited me to Sponsors Day. I don't miss a... And speaking of sponsors, I had some of the Villies pies. Yes, I ate all the pies. And a couple of Quiet Frosts. Also had a chance to catch up with Bernie Flynn, a stalwart of Tea Gully. The Born to Build people were there as well, and Sam was there entertaining all the other sponsors. He's a fantastic man, and thank you for what you do for the league, Sam. I think Tony did an interview at quarter time as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
And we got a couple of photos in as well. And then he brought us in some sausage rolls, pies and pasties, which was lovely at half time.
Yeah, no, good. And shout out to the cameraman who fell off the roof yesterday. Hopefully he's doing okay. Were you inside the van for that?
Yeah, and it was in the middle of Tony's interview with Sam Doman, so unfortunately, yeah. But best wishes to Johnny for that. Yeah,
get well, Johnny. He's got a soccer game today, so anyway. You were the one that gave the vote yesterday. Tell me, where did you land?
Yeah, so 1 vote to Noah Hyde. He was definitely the best for Tea Gully. He was outstanding, an absolute ball magnet. 2 votes to Tyrell Hocking, just the absolute speedster in the midfield and forward. He can really do anything. He's got a great kick on him as well. And 3 votes to Jake Wagner, the deputy vice captain, for his skills in the midfield and on half-back. Outstanding second half. Yeah, you talk about metres gained in AFL these days, but metres gained for Jake Wagner and Noah Hyde. Great penetration on their kick. They tend to kick the ball 55-60, and it was a bit... Conditions weren't easy, although credit to Tea Gully, ground in outstanding condition for this time of year, but those 2 players really took the yardage, so well done. And well done to Tyrell, who's just in and under. Not much taller than you, mate, and he just defies his size. It was funny to see him matched up on Blake Penny at one point. Well done to Salisbury North. That's 4 in a row for the Hawks, and a big test coming this week.
It was a bit closer at PNU than it has been, which is very refreshing for the boys at the Falconry. PNU 9-6-60, St Peter's 16-11, 107, a 47-point margin. St Peter's did lead at every change, but 27, 36, 41, 47. But certainly the last three quarters, plenty of fight shown by PNU. Goal kickers, Henry Hold'em. You've got to know when to hold him, you've got to know when to fold him. A recruit from Port Lincoln kicked a couple, and Tyler Sparknell also kicked a couple. For the Spockers, Tommy Rundle had a little jaunt down forward, and very good. And multiples to Michaels, McCarthy, Wenk and Bond. A good win there for Spock. Have you checked out both these teams this year?
I've checked out Spock, but not PNU yet.
Yeah, I think Spock being a little bit cruel by injury, and you look at someone like Tommy Rundle, who's a defender. I've seen him play ruck this year, and now had to go up forward, but good versatility from the man.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen him play in the forward line, so looking to see if he does it again this year when I commentate him. Yeah,
beautifully done. Now, we love a good highlight, and Payneham had a good highlight yesterday. It was a Jag Meatwork snag of the day. That man, formerly of Glenunga, coached by me, now with PNU, Fraser Greaves. Let's have a look at it.
Beautifully done. Spins around quickly to the hot spot. Who can fly? Who can mark? No mark taken, but is still in a dangerous position right along the boundary line. Dribbles it in. Great work there. Beautiful goal.
Yeah, well done there to Big Phrase. Now, looking at the commentator's notes, Spock were a little bit cleaner in the middle, and their connection to the forward line was the important part of the victory. PNU very strong across quarters 2, 3 and 4, but that first 5 goals to Spock was where the difference was. All in all, improved performance by Payneham, and one that will have their supporters very happy. Hopefully they can snag that elusive win at some point this year. Take us through the votes, please, young fella.
Yeah, so it was 1 vote to Grant Catalano from Payneham Norwood Union, 2 votes to Henry Nelligan for his outstanding midfield class, and 3 votes to Tommy Rundle up forward.
Yeah, he did very well, Tom Rundle, new role. Hey, the next one was a grand final rematch. Now, in round 1, Golden Grove extracted a measure of revenge, but Port District just came back and came to play. Port District 12-13-85, Golden Grove 6-6-42. Joey Haynes with 3 goals, and he was down back. Gray, Shepherd and Carpenty with 2 apiece, whilst Pascoe and Patterson of the white variety kicked a couple each for Golden Grove, who led by 3 points and 4 points at the quarter and the half. But then what happened, Alex?
Port District 7 goals 4, Golden Grove 0-0-0 in the third quarter.
Yeah, the premiership quarter they call it. Port were challenged, and Port answered the challenge, and that's why we've both tipped them to win the flag. When they need to, they just know how to put the foot on the throat, and then just increase the margin slightly to 43 points. Now, we've lucky enough to see you yourself have nominated Brodie Latham, and I agree with it, for the mark of the week, but there was another one, wasn't there, this week? Take us through that one. Who was it?
Jack Pullinger with an absolute crazy mark, so let's have a look at that one.
Gould in defence. And eventually just off of a step. Oh, flying high, beautiful grab. Pullinger.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolute textbook fly, hang time, really postcard type mark there. Well done to Jackie Pullinger. A good highlight for Golden Grove. Just looking at the commentators' notes and description of the game and match flow, it was an arm wrestle, and then in that arm wrestle, Port hit the flex and bang, took them out. When Port are on and they're up and running, they're very, very hard to stop. Their ball use is elite, and they can just chisel through any sort of zone or defence. So well done to the Dizzies. All right, let's look at the better players that don't make the votes. And for Golden Grove, the wall of thatch, as always, Hames, Patterson, Lamb Simon and Nick Collins. Whilst the Port District off half-back, that man with the left-footed weapon that he has, Cooper Gaffney. The Rose Boys, Zach and Logan and Hugh Heffernan were all very good, mate. But who were the 3 Port players who took home the votes?
Jack Ferns with 1 vote for his amazing aerial work. Steve Summerton with 2 votes, also from Port District, for his contest work. And 3 votes to Joey Haynes, 3 goals from halfback. 3 goals, 3 votes.
Yeah, deserves it. And making a move in the Player of the Year, old Mr. Footy Sauce. Wish him the best of luck for the rest of the year. Wasn't meant to be playing this year. He was going to be a top-up for another team, but he's playing well. Next one, Glenunga and Sacred Heart. And Glenunga nearly shot themselves in the foot. 10-20. That's 10-20, 80. Sacred Heart, much more accurate, 10-8-68. A 12-point win there to the Rams. Ethan Smith with 3, while Roach Wonky kicked 2. Connor Glorious with 3 for the Shockers, and Alex Colotto with 2. Shock did lead for large parts, leading by 16, 12 and 3 at the 3 breaks, but Glenunga coming over the end at 12 points. And did you happen to hear the halftime score? I think it was in our commentators chat. Did you see what that was?
Yeah, it was like 112.
Yeah, 112 to Glenunga to 4-6. But bless you. The commentators then talked about in the third quarter there was a double goal to Glenunga. When you look at the margin, you just can't afford to do that. And Glenunga had 8 shots a quarter, and it was in the last quarter where they kicked straight. They kicked 4-4, and that was enough to get the chocolates. There was, again, another contender for Mark of the Week. It's a last quarter specky from Ethan Smith.
The ball's fallen a bit short. West got onto it first, and now he's handled it over the top to Pridham. That's really nice, but the kick is a little bit ugly. Oh!
Well, a great specky from Ethan Smith there, and also 2 final quarter goals, which is still to deal. The Iceman, Ethan Smith.
Yeah, the Iceman cometh on a cold day, and full credit Sacred Heart really took it up to Glenunga, but Glenunga at Webb very hard to beat. What else have we got from the commentators? I spotted this one myself. Big congratulations to Harry Prosser, 200 games for the Rams. Harry's been there from Division 6 all the way through to Division 1. That is a tremendous effort. His dad, Stephen, obviously very proud of him. His former Bega coach is proud of him. He's a good man, Pross, and well done on a great achievement. Life member at Glenunga now, so that's awesome. Better players for Sacred Heart, who didn't get in the votes. Reggie Rapina, he's in and out every week. Snowy McRae, Colotto, Walkington, and Jack Kelton. I assume that's the son of John Kelton. And for Glenunga, Wunks, Noah Wood, Michael McMahon, Macca, and Decky Fay continues his excellent season in the middle. But let's have a look at the votes, please, Alex.
Well, it was Sacred Heart with 1 vote, Tyson Cove for his outstanding midfield work, 2 votes to man down back for his intercept marking, Jack Oates, and 3 votes to Ethan Smith for his 2 last quarter goals and insane all-round performance and specky that he took.
Well done there, mate, and I can see you've got the ladder cock-locked and ready to rock. So let's get it up, and we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. PNU 0 and 10. Now, you saw Teacher Gully yesterday, one of the better 9th place teams you'd ever see, with a percentage of 47.4. If they had have won, they would have been equal 6, just percentage off Glenunga. There's still plenty of hope for Teacher Gully to make a push, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely there is, and I don't think they will get relegated, but unfortunately with their inaccuracy, that's what they definitely need to work on in training, and if that continues then they could fall down the ladder, but if that doesn't continue they could even make a push for that 5th spot.
Yeah, it takes time in Division 1, and for me, Teacher Gully in their first year in Div 1 have probably dropped a couple of games that if it was their 2nd or 3rd year, they might have got over the line, but wasn't to be. Sacred Heart with that narrow loss, sitting on 3.5 wins, again teetering around the relegation zone, 2 games out the 5. Same with St Peter's. Glenunga just making their move, just breaking away from that pack there a little bit with 4.5 wins and the percentage. So really important win for them on the weekend and an important round coming up. Athelston hang on in the 5 with 5.5 wins. Golden Grove dropped from 1st to 4th. It's a crazy Division 1 competition, isn't it?
Well, absolutely is, and they have the best offence in the comp, Golden Grove. They just need to work on their defence a little bit. They are 5th for that ranking, so if they can get that, they can work themselves back up to that top 2.
Yeah, no Cavallaro yesterday, might have hurt him on the type of day it was. The balls at ground level a lot. Salisbury North off 4 in a row, sit 7 and 3. Port District 7.5 wins. And Ross Trevor, a week's a long time in football. Last week they're down by 5 goals. This week they win and they are in. They snatch one late and they are sitting top, which is no better place to be. All right, mate, we're going to have a look at Player of the Year votes and have a bit of a dive into that. We've got the top 10. I'll roll through the bottom half and then we're going to talk more about the top 4. Because in 10th place, Ethan Smith, 6 votes for Glenunga, 2 best on grounds in a row. Then we've got Henry Nelligan in 7, who's having a consistent season for Spock. We've got 4 players locked in equal 5th. Mitch Grigg, Sam Gray, Harry Dwyer and Luke Rander, all having really good, strong, consistent seasons. They all should be in equal 4th, because the other person in 4th place, they're all in equal 4th, not equal 5th, is Finn Wakeland, also on 8 votes. Finn Wakeland, a tremendous footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely is. You can play really anywhere on the ground. He's just that link-up player that Ross Trevor need, and they have him, and they're so glad that they're proud that they have him. Yeah,
one of those players you'd love to have 2 on. You'd love to have him floating through the ruck, up forward, down back. He's very versatile, real modern-day footballer. 3 votes. In 3rd place with 11 votes, that man from Salisbury North, Bob Russo.
Yeah, Jacob Russo, absolutely guarding and play. He can play ruck, he can play full forward, he can play full back as well. He's a great player, he can take some great marks. He took a little one-hand clunk yesterday, so he's an outstanding player and a gun for Salisbury North.
He's a nice weapon when you can throw him on ball or in ruck, and as you said, his move down forward yesterday straightened Salisbury North up a little bit, got the ball going in longer and deeper. So some of the shallow entries hurt them, but he's a crucial part on the Salisbury North as they push towards finals. Man, we've talked about him a fair bit today. Joey Haynes, 13 votes.
Yeah, absolute guard for Port District. Watched him, and I'm pretty sure he got 2 votes that day. Harry Dwyer got the 3, who you talked about before, in equal 4th on 8 votes. So Joey Haynes, absolute gun off halfback. Him and Cooper Gaffney, that's why they have the best defence in the league. I've only conceded like less than 550 points, and they're a mile in front of everyone in that defensive category.
Yeah, to have a Joey Haynes and Cooper Gaffney in the same team, what a luxury for Ditters. And top of the shop, currently leading player of the year on 15 votes with another best on ground yesterday is Xavier Tramper.
Absolute gun, Xavier Tramper. You can play anywhere on the field for Ross Trevor, and him and Len's only like that dynamic duo in that forward line as well when they want to be together.
No worries, let's have a look at round 11 games. I know we've gone a long time, but there's been a lot to unwrap. It's a really pivotal round. Round 11, of course, these teams meet again following on from the round 2 clash. Golden Grove take on Glenunga. In round 2, it was Golden Grove by 11 points. Glenunga, if results go the way I think they potentially could move into the 5 with a win. What a huge game this is.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go Golden Grove. Golden Grove by 5 goals. They're just going to get it over them.
Yeah, Golden Grove to bounce back from last week. They'll be really disappointed with that. Golden Grove a bit closer than that for me, but I think they'll get the chocolates. Last time these two teams met, it was a draw. St. Peter's and Port District. This time it's at St. Peter's. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Port District is too good. They started off the season a bit shaky, but now they've found their feet, and Port District by 30 points. Yeah,
I think Port District's forward line suggests that they should win and win quite well. St. Peter's coming off a win, which is always good form, but Port, would you say 30 points?
Yeah.
I think it could even be a little more than that, but we'll see. Ross Trevor taking on PNU. When they met in round 2, it was Ross Trevor by 30 points at the Falconry. It's top versus bottom. You're at this game this week, so careful what you say here. Where's your tip?
I think Ross Trevor will smash them, but I'd love to see PNU put up a big fight.
Yeah, I think everyone would. Be good for the comp. It'd be great if PNU were able to knock them off, but I think Ross Trevor will be far too strong. Too many weapons there. What a huge game. This next one is 3rd versus 5th. Salisbury North take on the Raggies. When they met the last time, it was the Raggies by 16 points in what we thought was a big upset at the time, but now maybe not such. Your tip?
Well, I had originally Athelston, but I'm going to change it to Salisbury North.
You don't need to change
because I reckon I watched Jamie Jones yesterday, and he's an absolute gun down back, and I reckon he'll stop Luke Rando. He kicked only 1 goal last week. So I reckon they're going to shut down their offence and they're going to shut down their midfield. Salisbury North will win. Yeah,
I think the game will be won and lost in the midfield. But that's true. Great matchup, Randa and Jones. You'd pay to watch that. Just quickly on that, I'll take Salisbury North. On that, it's a huge day. Looking forward to hosting Atherton. It's Sponsors Day. It's Past Players Day. It's the 50-year Premiership reunion. It's going to be a massive day out at the Hawks Nest, and encourage everyone to get down. It should be a great celebration. Having watched how well Teachery Gully did it on the weekend, hopefully we can replicate something similar. And last one, speaking of them, Teachery Gully and Sacred Heart. First time round it was Sacred Heart by 29 points. The loser of this one sits in the relegation zone. Plenty on the line.
Yeah, well, last week I tipped a draw between Kilburn and Foss, and it was 3 points. I'm tipping a draw again this week between Teachery Gully and Sacred Heart.
A draw. I'll take Teachery Gully. Again, if they kick straight, they'll be absolute weapons. The last thing I want to do, whilst specifically not in Division 1, shout out to the Elizabeth Football Club. You lost an absolute club legend. When I say club legend, I don't say that lightly. A cornerstone of your football club who's promoted and brought players through like Platten, Josh Glenn, Trent Titoli, league and AFL players. Her name was Pat Watson. She's a star. If you know Elizabeth Football Club, you know Pat. She was the cornerstone for over 35 years, did every role there possibly is. They'll probably name the place after her. We lost Pat this week to cancer, and Pat, and to all the Elizabeth family, my thoughts are with you. You'll be at the funeral next week. I love you, Pat. I'll miss you. You're an absolute star. And footy has lost one of the greatest women I've ever met. Thanks, Pat. This has been a Division 1 wrap for TJ and Alex. We'll be back next week with more BTR excavation action. It's time for the Bianco Mark of the Week, thanks to Born to Build. But first, let's have a look at last week's winner. It was Noah Brevington from Trinity Old Scholars. Remember, if you see it, make sure you send it in to Jack at Filming Footy. Now, yesterday, the chats were popping off because there was 3 big hangers in Division 1. I mean big hangers. It'd be tough to beat Brody Latham's that I saw live. Lisa Mann was screaming from the hill. But let's have a look at this week's marks and vote with the corresponding emoji.
Gould in defence. Eventually just off of the step. Oh, flying high. Beautiful grab.
Teacher Gully yet the score is where 5.5 minutes in. Do they come high and long to the wing? Who's going to fly? That could be it.
The ball's fallen a bit short. West got onto it first, and now he's handled it over the top. Pridham, that's really nice, but the kick is a little bit ugly. But oh!
Welcome folks, it's time for Koutsy and the Cowboy to have a look at the Division 1, it's BTR Excavations Men's Division 1, how the season's gone so far after 10 rounds. We've seen a fair few of the teams, Koutsy, and I'll tell you what, there's some interesting notes we've got here, so let's share it with our viewers and see what vision we can get up, because there's also some players that we're going to look at as well. So I really enjoyed doing this week and having a chat with a few people. I'm going to start with Payneham Norwood Union on the bottom of the ladder. I actually spoke with Gary McIntosh on Saturday about a few players, and geez, he's a great man to have a chat with, and he's enthusiastic and always positive, which is reflective on the players. So what Gary did mention, it's a developing team with plenty of youth and recruits coming through. There are lots of small little winning moments, and there's progression during games. They're trying a few different things and they're starting to work. So as I said, he's always positive, enthusiastic, reflective. My advice there, keep your heads up, boys, and work hard in Division 2. The other thing I would say, and I've got no allegiance to any one club, but if there are any players out there next year that want to play under a coach that will help you and develop you and really get around you and help you in your ambitions in football, I'd be giving Gary a call down there at Payneham Norwood Union, because they will work hard in Division 2, and I'm sure that they'll pop back up in Division 1 very shortly. Players that we wanted to have a look at. So number 8, Taj Kleinig, been in the best a lot. He's in his second year from Kadina. He plays on the wing, but he's 6'2", so he's very consistent. A great mark. Gary couldn't really wrap him up enough just talking about this young man. Fantastic, great mark, strong overhead. He's got a very good tank, so his stamina is very good, and a level-headed young man. So well done, Taj. You see him in the best most weeks, as I said. Number 3, Ruben Carino. He's a midfielder. He's young and he's developing well. He's averaging around about 30 possessions, so really high possessions each week, and great skills. He is a right footer, dominant right footer, but he'll use his left if needed to be. Both these players were in their best players yesterday. And as I say, don't worry about the scoreboard, just play, and that's what these two players are doing. So it all augurs well for Payneham Norwood Union with the future, with a couple of these young players. Time to look at 9th position, Tea Tree Gully. Once again, we've seen them in the last 3 weeks. I'd say about Tea Tree Gully, the ladder position is not reflective of their efforts. Their losses have been between 10 and 39 points, so they're that 2 to 6 goals off the teams above. Yesterday, another game averaging around 20 scoring shots The teams above are getting around about 25 scoring shots. I think they'll really worry teams above them, and they may win more games in the last 8 rounds if accuracy and several more scoring opportunities present. So yeah, just keep an eye out for Tea Tree Gully in that 9th position currently, 3 and 6, but they could just pop up a little bit there. Couple of players to look at here. One of my favourites, I always have a chat with him pre-game and watch him throughout the game. Peter Personos, just that left footer. He's explosive, he's full of fast twitch, a real forward line danger, and a left footer. A little bit inaccurate a couple of weeks ago, but one game that can happen. But as we spoke yesterday, he's still beaten 35 other players on the ground to get that ball in his hand. So a really good sharpshooter, Peter Personos, up forward for them. The other end of the bookcase, if you like, is Joshua Spence, number 5 down back. He's a backman with a huge kick. He normally kicks to the wing on kick-ins, although I did notice Dylan Weaver taking a few of the kick-ins yesterday just to change things up. I have noticed Joshua come up the ground, especially against St Peters the other week, and I didn't mind that, so he can play up the ground a bit. And when he does let go, gee, he's got a real weapon with that foot. So be interesting to see if they push him up the ground at times in the last 8 games. 8th position, Koutsy, Sacred Heart.
Yeah, so Sacred Heart, they have the 8th offense and the 7th defense, just shy of 50%. 3, 6 and 1. Their wins were against Tea Tree Gully by 31, St Peters by 4, PNU by 114, and a draw to Athelston 88 apiece. They are a very well all-rounded team. There's only a few real superstars, but their team, like there's not many weaknesses, so they can definitely make a push, I think, for that 5th spot on the ladder. Some players for Sacred Heart, Tyson Coe, he really goes in hard. He's a very courageous player. He's an absolute ball magnet and has a very clean kick on him. The other one down back, Jack Oates. He has amazing defence and a great mark. He's a great ball user as well. He did sneak in the votes earlier on in the year, and I'm looking forward to see how he develops as well. Next up is 7th on the ladder, St Peters, with his 7th offence and the 4th defence, just shy of 51%. They are 3, 6 and 1 as well. Their wins against Payneham by 47, Payneham again by 59, Gonunga by 40, and then a draw to Port District, who are currently 2nd on the ladder. They're excited. They're a really exciting team on their day. They have a really strong defence and a pass-first team. They can rely on basically anyone as well. Players to look out for, Charlie Allen. He has a great mark, very hard worker and a known goal kicker as well. He's playing alongside 2 of his brothers, Hamish and Ed Allen as well, so good to have that chemistry within the side. And the other one, Zach Michaels, who also has a brother in the team, Nick Michaels, very versatile player. He's a great ball user and very high IQ on the back and in the wing as well.
Fantastic, Koutsy. We move across to 6th place Glenunga, and I say, look out, here they come. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and they will push for the top 5. Out of those 4 games, they only lost to Port District by 5 points, and they had more scoring shots in round 8, so very, very close. They just have to make the 5 to play finals. It doesn't matter where you end up, just get in the 5 first of all, and then start again. So very important for Glenunga there. Don't worry about where you end up. Couple of players here, they're not brothers, but number 4, Zach Smith, is a key defender and intercept, mark or punch, and in the games we've seen is an integral part of that backline system for Glenunga, so watch out for Zach Smith. Then the other one, well, I picked this through the week, and lo and behold, yesterday's best on again. So number 8, Ethan Smith, is a real link between wing and forward line. I've watched this lad for a couple of years in a couple of teams, really competes well and wins his 50-50 contests. He has great acceleration. He'll come up to the back of a pack, take off with the ball out of that area, out of a throw-in or whatever, and kick the goals. Great set of hands. Apparently took a specky yesterday and kicked the winning goal. He's two-sided, and he does kick goals for them. He's been best on ground now in the last 2 weeks. My question is, will he get some midfield minutes if he's not there already? So there we have it, folks. Glenunga, watch out for them. They are pushing up the ladder. We go to 5th place, Athelston, Koutsy.
Yeah, Athelston, they're a very offense-heavy team. Second offense points for, and have the ninth defense. Unfortunately for them, they need to probably work on that a bit towards the end of the season. 53.69%. They are 5-4-1, so they draw, really helping them out. Wins to Salisbury North by 16, Payneham Norwood Union by 109, Port District by 51, St Peters by 14, Golden Grove by 6, and a draw to Sacred Heart. They're a very midfield and forward heavy team. They'll definitely make a big push to stay in the top 5, but they have lost a few games they should have won to opponents like Teaching Gully and some other ones as well. But we could see them maybe third or above, probably at their ceiling in the season, at the end of the season. Some players I have on them. Luke Randa is a really known goal kicker, strong hands as well. He just kicks bags every week. It's like another one, Zion Santillo as well. He's been in the best a lot, and he's just an absolute gun, along with his brother Carlin Santillo as well. Off to fourth place, Golden Grove. They have the first offense with the fourth defense, 55.08%. They are 7-3, wins to Port District by 20, Glenunga by 11, Sacred Heart by 10, St Peters by 27. St Peters by 22, Sacred Heart, Salisbury North by 31, Teaching Gully by 15, and Payneham Norwood Union by 114. They have a great offense with a solid defense as well, so very well all-rounded team, with a midfield that just consists of stars like Pittman, Cavallaro, and others as well. The team is full of stars, though many people leaving as well at the start of the year. Everyone predicted them out of the top 5, but I reckon they're going to stay in. Some players on them, Jack Pullinger is one of them. He's an absolute gun. He plays like a great winger, speedy and a very hard worker, also like a great link-up player similar to Ethan Smith. And Lamb Simon down back, he has a great kick and takes some really strong marks.
Fantastic, Koutsy. So third place, Salisbury North. We saw them yesterday. They won at home early, but not away until round 9 versus Rocks. However, they have now won 2 away, and they're hitting best form, winning their last 4 games in a row. So they're consolidating their position in third there. Couple of players, when we saw these players yesterday, number 24, Anthony Hellebort, he's an athletic and consistent goal kicker. A great target with a big work rate around the 50-metre arc, and it presents well. We saw him take a one-hander yesterday and just puts his body in the right position, but he really works up around that 50-metre area, as we said. So, he's a hard match-up for any team. The other one, number 3, Jacob Russo, he is an absolute giant. He's been around the club for a little while. He'd come through a junior system higher up, and he's now playing good football at Salisbury North. He's in the best players a lot, and we can see why after yesterday. A real athletic ruckman. He goes into the forward line when off the ball, so he doesn't come off clout and goes into the ruck, and he goes up forward. And he's a great target. He's strong in general play, really strong. He's a great grab and good foot skills for a tall player. Both of these players were in the best players yesterday.
Well, next up, we have Port District in second place. They have the 4th offense with the best defense in the comp, 59.29%. They are 7-2-1. Wins to Ross Trevor by 70, Salisbury North by 22, Teaching Gully by 30, PNU by 114, Glenunga by 5, Sacred Heart by 46, and Golden Grove by 43, with a draw to St Peters 74 apiece. They're an amazingly all-rounded team, loaded with stars. They're probably the best quality side in the comp with a lot of depth. And they'll definitely make a big push to make and win the grand final as well. Some players I want to talk about for Port District. Deacon Benell Jackson is a crafty small forward with a clean mark and definitely can kick some goals at certain points. And also Stephen Summerton, really hard worker and goes in hard for the ball and has a really clean kick on him.
Okay, it's time to look at top place Ross Trevor. They've popped up on top of the ladder after yesterday, so well done to Ross Trevor. They now have 8 wins and only 2 losses. Round 3 versus Port District, it was 70 points though, and round 9 against Salisbury North, 28. So a really good run between round 3 and round 9 there. They've taken on the challenge of Division 1 and they are really going well. They are now a threat to all teams. They're a genuine fair income top of the ladder team, and they look to continue winning games in the last 8 rounds leading into the finals. 2 players to look at. I did pick out number 21, Finn Wakeland. We go to games. He's the kind of player that will bring people through the gates to watch. He's a goal-kicking forward, and he also works into the back line late in quarters, so he helps out at both ends. He's got a huge work rate, and you'll often see him up on the wings as well as a target, so a real standout, Finn Wakeland. He's got that long kick. We saw him win Koutsy's call with that probably a 60-metre kick in the wet up there at Teachery Gully it was, and just a fantastic player. The other one is Hayden Swanbury, number 27. He's now a key defender. His closing speed and dash out of the back line is really helping Ross Trevor. He's really grown into a solid and reliable defender as Ross Trevor surged towards the final. Started out on a flank or a pocket, and now in that key position role, and just growing week by week. Once again, he was named best for rocks yesterday. So folks, that's Cowboy and Koutsy's look at the BTR Excavations Men's Division 1 with 8 rounds to go.
You've seen him around town. He walks with purpose. With only a short introduction, he leaves a lasting impression. This morning, he was a regular guy in a tee. Now, he's fitted with confidence.
It's time for our Goal of the Week, thanks to Peter Shearer and Born to Build. And last week's Goal of the Week was from the Salisbury North Football Club and Hellbout, where they check side from the boundary to seal the game.
Yeah, when Johansson gets near it, he always does little clever things. Here goes Hellbout. He got the tap, right foot, checky. He looks good off the boot. He loves it. What a goal. Anthony Hellbout.
Wow. Of course, if you see it, you send it to jack@filmingfooty.com.au. It's time to have a look at this week's goals and vote with the corresponding emoji.
Quickly to the hot spot. Who can fly? Who can mark? No mark taken, but is still in a dangerous position right along the boundary line. Dribbles it in. Great work there. Beautiful goal.
Well, thanks to Damon and Co, it is time for What Caught My Eye, and it's both of us today, Koutsy and the Cowboy. They've rolled us in, mate, so let's get stuck into it. Division 7, I picked the game and it was Hackham versus Brahma Lodge, 3rd versus 5th, and this was at Hackham. It's the closest game in Division 7 with both on 5 wins. It's a very close ladder and both teams need to keep winning. Well, Brahma Lodge 8 goals, 16-64 defeated Hackham 8-8-56. So a win by 8 points for Brahma Lodge away. 24 scoring shots to 16 it was, which is 40. Then we'll come to that later. On the ladder now, Brahma Lodge in 4th place. So they've moved from 5th to 4th, and Hackham have gone from 3rd right down to 5th. We were asked to do a top 5 at the start of the season, so we're going to go through this as well. Mine were Hackham, Adelaide Lutheran, Brahma Lodge, Mitchell Park, and a caveat was that Central United would come into that spot because we did have Mawson Lakes in there. And that is 5 out of 5 as it currently sits for the season.
Well, my Div 7 walkout error is Ryan Foley from West Croydon, averaging 5.2 goals a game, absolute monstrosity in a forward line. And my top 5 prediction at the start of the season was Brahma Lodge, West Croydon, Mawson Lakes, Hackham and Mitchell Park. And I'm going to change it up. I'm going Adelaide Lutheran, Central United, Brahma Lodge, West Croydon, and staying with Mitchell Park at 5th.
Fantastic, Koutsy. I'm going to stick with mine. You're going to do your changes as we go through. One other thing, we do have a photo from West Croydon, so thank you very much to all those teams that help out with the scaffolding, but in particular this week, West Croydon, you can see the scaffolding there. It's important to get the cameraman up high so that the clubs get the best footage down through the players and so on. It also helps the coaches, so thank you very much to Division 7 club West Croydon. Moving across to Division 6, it was Para Hills versus O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, 5th versus 7th. Para Hills, well, they needed to win because from 3rd to 6th, there are 4 teams on wins. O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale on 3 wins can move up as they have good percentage and it's the 4th highest. What happened? Para Hills go out and they win by 57 points, 16-8, 104, very accurate, to 6-11, 47. That's 24 scoring shots to 17, 41 altogether. On the ladder now, Para Hills moved from 5th up to 3rd, and O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, well, they've gone from 7th down to 8th.
Well, Div 6 for me, it was Gazer top of the table, 131 to Rosewater 9, and Callum Atkinson kicking 5 goals. Gazer, they might be the real deal in Div 6. And my predictions at the start of the year was Ingle Farm, O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, Para Hills, Rosewater and Elizabeth. And I'm going to change that to Gazer, Elizabeth, Para Hills, Blackfriars and Trinity.
Interesting there, Koutsy. My top 5 were Ingle Farm as well, Elizabeth, Rosewater, O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale and Para Hills. Out of those 5, there are 2 that are currently in the 5, and that's Elizabeth versus Elizabeth and Para Hills. And I've said I've got to stick with them. So we'll just see how that pans out with 8 rounds to go. Division 5, Woodville South versus Eastern Park, 5th versus 7th. 5th place, Woodville South, they need to win as they are on 5 wins. And if Eastern Park win, only on 4 wins, so the one below, they can move to 5 wins and continue to challenge the top. Well, it was Woodville South by 12 points in a close game, 18-13, 121. To 17-7, 109. So that's 31 shots to 23, an old-fashioned shootout. And as a numbers man, Koutsy, that was 54 scoring shots by both teams. What an outstanding game that would have been. On the ladder, Woody South, well, they stay in 5th, but interestingly, Eastern Park, who lost, move from 7th up to 6th. So a little bit of movement in this division.
Yeah, well, my thing before Div 5 was Greenacres absolutely smashing Portland 207 to 35. And I have Ryan and Stephen Clark kicking 21 goals between them. Ryan kicking 8 and Stephen kicking 13.
Wow. My top 5 for Division 5 were Eastern Park, Greenacres, Fitzroy, Woodville South and Paraka. And at the moment, Greenacres, Woody South and Paraka are still in that top 5. Eastern Park are in 6th. I know that doesn't count, but they're not far off it. And Fitzroy, they're in 7th. So it still might change, Koutsy. What were your top 5?
My top 5 was Greenacres, Woody South, Eastern Park, Portland and Fitzroy. And I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm sticking with Greenacres at the top. Then I'm going Paraka, Smosh West Lakes, Woody South and Salisbury.
Gee, both of us there, mate, in a couple of these divisions got it a fair bit wrong there looking at this.
Yeah.
All good fun. We're asked, we can't see into a crystal ball. We are asked at the start of the year. Division 4, Marion versus Scotch. This was a ripper. 3rd versus 4th. The top 5 is almost set in this division, but there's an opportunity to stamp your authority, and will ladder positions actually change within that top 5? Well, Scotch were away and they won by 30 points, 19 shots each, believe it or not. Scotch 15-4, very accurate, and Marion 9 goals 10. So what's that, 19 shots each, as we said. The ladder stays the same, but if we have a look, 2nd, through to 5th. So that's Hope Valley, Marion, Scotch and CBC, all on 7 wins. Hope Valley with a draw in there gives them that extra point. So a very good division to keep an eye on, Koutsy.
Yeah, well, my Div 4 was a bit similar to what you just went through. I have that there is 1 point between 2nd and 5th on the ladder, and then an extra 2 points for top of the ladder, Hectorville. So that's looking very close. My top 5 predictions for Div 4 at the start of the season, if I'm being honest, they weren't the greatest. I had Colonel Light, Morphettville Park, Hectorville, Marion and Pulteney, and I'm changing that to Marion, Hectorville, Hope Valley, Scotch and CBC.
Well, my top 5, I was trying to skip it, but you've mentioned it, so I have to get through it. I'm the same. I had Morphy Park, Hectorville, Colonel Light Gardens, Mitcham and Jepps Cross. I've picked, I guess, the bottom 4 of the bottom 5, but only one, which is Hectorville, that are up there heading that ladder in Division 4. So interesting in that division. Division 3, Kilburn versus Foss Camden. That was 6th versus 5th. So Kilburn on 4 wins and 1 draw. Will they stay in the hunt with 7th place Edwardstown and 8th place Pembroke, 1 game behind, yet a better percentage. So it was really interesting. Foss on 5 wins, well, they have an opportunity to get breathing space on the teams below. Lo and behold, Kilburn in a close one, they win by 3 points, 10-11-71 to 9-14-68. So 21 scoring shots to 23. Less scoring shots, they win the game. 44 scoring shots. So Kilburn moved from 6th into 4th position. So they move up the ladder. Foss, well, they'll rue this because they've gone from 5th down to 6th. There are 3 teams on 5 wins, and Kilburn actually have the draw, which gives them that little bit of an extra push up there. So it's a really congested ladder if you're looking at really from 4th position down to 8th position. My top 5 here were Kilburn, Plympton, Pembroke, Walkerville and Seaton. 4 of those 5 are in the top 5, with Kilburn slipping in yesterday, or sneaking in, and Pembroke are the one team that are out of that top 5. Koutsy?
Well, that Kilburn Foss game last week when I was on here doing my Div 3, I predicted the draw, and it was 3 points. So I'm happy with that. I was pretty close. But my what caught our eye for Div 3 was Edwardstown beating North Haven by a single point, 82-81, and Josh Holiday was goalless. So Edwardstown have really shared the ball around a lot in that game, it seems. Yeah,
they're in 7th position now. So, and as I said, it's so close. Kilburn are on 1 extra win up there. So that ladder could still move around a fair bit. How's your top 5 looking from pre-season to now, Koutsy?
Yeah, well, my original one, this isn't that bad apart from a couple of teams. I had Kilburn, Adelaide Uni, Pembroke, Plympton and Edwardstown sneaking in. And I'm going to change it up with the top 3 teams especially. I'm going Walkerville top, then Seaton, North Haven, and I'm sticking with Plympton in 4th and Edwardstown in 5th. I reckon that's going to make that climb up.
Gee, you're going to sneak them up and Kilburn to drop out, most likely?
It'll be definitely between them 2, Edwardstown and Kilburn for 5th spot.
So last 8 rounds, interesting in that division. Okay, Division 2, Flinders Park played Goodwood Saints, 9th versus 6th. So one of my old teams there, Flinders Park with 2 wins. They need to win a few games to avoid relegation. Goodwood Saints, so this is interesting. They're in 6th position. I picked this game because Goodwood with 3 wins in 6 are 2 wins off 4th place Henley and 5th place Broadview. So they're right there. Will Goodwood make the finals? Well, Goodwood, they win by 7 points away. Flinders Park 6-15, get that folks, 6-15, that's 21 scoring shots. 6-15-51 to Goodwood, 8-10-58, who still had 18 scoring shots, so less scoring shots, and yet they win the game. That's 39 together. The ladder, it does stay the same. Goodwood now 1 win off top 5. So I tell you what, they might come home with a wet sail second half of the season. My top 5 there were Henley, Goodwood Saints, Prince Alfred, Modbury and Flinders Park. So 2 of those teams have slipped out and 3 are in.
Yeah, well, I had start in the top 5 for what caught our eye in Div 2. There is 1 point between 1st and 4th. My predictions at the start of the year were Goodwood, Henley, Flinders Park, Unley and Westminster, and only one of them is currently in the top 5. New ones, I'm going for Prince Alfred, I'm sticking with Henley at second, Old Iggy's, Modbury, and then Goodwood sneaking into the 5.
Yes, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Goodwood. It was a bit of the talk of the town in the pre-season because we went out there and did the interviews and so on. So let's keep an eye on Division 2. There's some really good footy being played in the Adelaide Footy League. So we get to Division 1 and it's Athelston versus Ross Trevor, 5th versus 2nd. For me, Athelston, it's a real test. Can they consistently play well against teams higher on the ladder? This week, currently in 5th, very wary though with Athelston that there's not much depth with the B grade on the bottom, with all due respect. So if they don't get any injuries or any players moving out, they might be okay, and maybe they've got 4 or 5 in the B grade that can come in case. But the other side of the equation was Rocks. Are they the real deal and really shake up Division 1 this season? We've seen them a few times this year, Koutsy, and they are very impressive. I will say this. In the end, Athelston, 7 goals, 18. So inaccuracy again. Rocks, Ross Trevor Old Collegians, 9-10, 64. So Rocks win by 4 points, 25 scoring shots by Athelston, 19 by Ross Trevor, and yet they win the game. 44 combined. Rocks, they get up by 4 points. So that means on the ladder, Rocks go from 2nd position to top position. Fantastic by them. Athelston, they're in 5th place, but look out because here comes Glenunga.
Yeah, well, my what caught eye for Div 1 was there are three teams lost while exactly scoring 60 points, so a little bit of a trend going on there. Wow. My top 5 predictions at the start of the year were Port District, Salisbury North, Sacred Heart, St Peters, and then Golden Grove. My new ones, I'm sticking with Port District and Salisbury North at the top 2, and then I'm going Ross Trevor, Golden Grove, and then Athelston.
So my top 5 at the start of the year, Port District, St Peters, Golden Grove, Glenunga and Salisbury North. The only 2 that have dropped out there are St Peters and Glenunga, but I'll hold on to that because Glenunga, as I said, here come Glenunga. I sort of can see them now starting to push. They know what it's like to play finals. They're coming along. They haven't had a great start to the season. They're on 4 and 5, but I reckon they'll win more in the back half. And with all due respect to Matty Knight and the great work he's done there at Athelston, I'm just not sure that they can hang on down there. Their against is more than Glenunga. So and they're actually, I think that, well, if you look at the second highest defence, so they've got a leaky defence there, so they need to keep scoring up forward, maybe tighten up their defence if they are to keep going, but as I said, look out, here comes Glenunga. Very quickly, an overall view, what we've looked at here is the teams they train all of summer. We go out and do the interviews, it's stinking hot, they're in their shorts and singlets out there, pouring away there, and they play their early games in the dry, but the last few weeks, besides yesterday, they're playing on muddy grounds and they must adapt to both be a dry and a wet weather team. So if you get the opportunity, it's pouring with rain, that's wet, get out there and train. Don't go inside and try and stay by the heaters, because this will affect your game plan, the team makeup, the structures all need tinkering. We have some vision and there's some players playing in the mud and covered in mud, and the game I wanted to bring up was a couple of weeks ago, Koutsy. Rocks were playing Tea Tree Gully up at Tea Tree Gully, and number 14 Elliot Murata there gets dumped in the mud, and the game went on. They were trying to clean him up a bit. The ball actually went down into the forward line, and as we were calling, just veered to the left. I actually thought a spectator had run onto the ground in a dark tracksuit, because all you could see from behind was this black silhouette running around, and then we realised it was Elliot Murata. They had the towels and everything on him at quarter time. They started at the top of his head, believe it or not, folks, and worked his way down. So enjoy the vision. It is muddy grounds, and learn to play in the mud because we've got a long winter ahead. And thanks to Damon & Co. on behalf of Koutsy and the Cowboy, that was what caught our eye this week.
It's time for our Farmers League Coach of the Week, and it comes to us from Division 1, and this week's coach has been selected, and it is Luke Harble from the Salisbury North Football Club. Luke Harble's coming off 4 wins in a row, including beating top of the team Ross Trevor last week, but 2 elusive away wins in a row. See Salisbury North sitting 7 and 3rd in Division 1, higher than they've sat in that division for over a decade. An outstanding achievement. It'd be remiss of not to mention Luke's entire team. He's very much a team player. So well done to not just Luke, Rod Brown, Eddie Hocking, Jordan Boyle, Luke Jurgens, Bo Green and Jason Hiscock. It takes a village to run a footy club. So well done to Luke and all of your coaches. You're Division 1 Farmers League Coach of the Week.
Welcome back to BTR Excavations Division 1's Women's Recap. In round 10, we saw some games which is making everyone question who is going to end up in the finals. The first game of the week was Tea Tree Gully up at Tea Tree Gully. It was a strong win for them, who defeated Payneham by 27 points with an end score of 65-38. Tea Tree Gully really had the better accuracy in front of the goals, especially Taylor Pearson, who kicked a big 5, followed closely by Laura Mitchell and Summer Nelson, who kicked 2 each, and Kyla Jaffa kicking 1. Payneham weren't as accurate in front of the goals, kicking 5 goals 8. However, star forward Letitia Ackland stole the game for Payneham, kicking 3 and receiving best on for Payneham. Arini Geikas and captain Kerry Jeffries also kicked 1 each. Best on for Tea Tree Gully went to Chelsea Marshall. Tea Tree Gully cement themselves as a team to beat, sitting 3rd on the ladder. Let's see how they play next week against Henley, who is sitting top. Up next, we have Broadview vs Anglevale, and unfortunately, Broadview was just too strong, and Anglevale couldn't continue their winning streak after winning against Henley and Goodwood in the past 2 rounds. Broadview won 6 goals 8 to 3 goals 4. Broadview held strong in front of goals with 6 different goal scorers, these being Daphne Albanese, Amber Aldridge, Charlotte Beard, Remy Grant and Emerson Lyhill. Same goes with Anglevale with their goal scorers, being captain Tamara Clampton, Jade Pryor and Jessica Walker-Smith, all kicking 1. Best on went to Michaela Wagner for Anglevale, and best on for Broadview went to Amy Jones. This game was a great show for both teams. It shows how strong Broadview are and proves they will be a team to beat for the rest of the season. However, Anglevale lost by only 22 points. They should not be underestimated. They are a strong team with the drive and determination that's needed to get the win under their belts. Next up, we have Happy Valley versus Henley. This game was sure to be interesting as last time they played it resulted in a draw. Happy Valley came out strong, keeping Henley goalless until halfway through the 3rd quarter. Henley were fired up and ready for a comeback, and that's what they did, winning 36-22 and coming away with a 14-point win. Happy Valley goal scorers went to Kaya Levitt, Chelsea Kennedy, Ziva Nemeth, and who all scored 1. Henley goal scorers were Tegan Dunbar and Asha Gawley, who kicked 2 each, and vice-captain Ellie Fixter, who kicked 1. Best on for Happy Valley went to Lauren Bugney, and Henley's best on went to Kayla Illett. Both had an amazing game, dominating the entire 4 quarters all around the oval. It'll be interesting to see if these 2 teams face off again, possibly in finals, but we'll have to wait to see after the next couple of rounds. The final game for round 10 was Morfettville vs Goodwood. Unfortunately for Goodwood, they just haven't been able to get a win for the season yet, with Morfettville winning 74-8, defeating Goodwood by 66 points. Georgia Emmis was still left her heart on the field for Goodwood, winning their best on and also kicking their only goal for the game. Morpheys, on the other hand, had the ball in their forward 50 for majority of the game. Their goal scorers were Chloe Newton with 4, Brooklyn Craft with 2, Chloe Harding, Emily Johnston, Maddie McLeod and Sophie Thomas, who all kicked 1 each. Celestina Donna won Best On for Morphies. Now, although this was an amazing win for Morphettville, the one thing they lacked was accuracy in front of goals, kicking 10 goals 14. If they get a little more accurate in their forward line, they can continue to dominate and progress up the ladder and pull out a couple more wins in future rounds. That's all for BTR Excavation Division 1 Women's Recap. I'll see you guys next week in round 11. Hey guys, welcome back to What Caught Our Eye in the remaining women's division. In the Division 1 reserves, we saw some big wins. Broadview vs Anglevale. Broadview won 10 goals 19 to 1 goal 1. Although Broadview are still sitting top of the ladder, next week I think they'll be a lot more determined to get accurate in front of the goals, as 19 points is a real dent in their percentage, which may affect their spot on the ladder if they lose a few games. Similar to Broadview, Tea Tree Gully defeated Payneham 9 goals 18 to 1 goal 1. In Division 2 we saw Port Districts win over Hectorville by 22 points. Hectorville is sitting second on the ladder, whilst Port District is sitting fourth. Port District's fighting hard this week after they lost last week to Eastern Park by only 6 points. I love comparing games from the start of the season to the end of the season, and in round 3, when they last faced off against Hectorville, Hectorville won by 33 points. So it's just great to see just how much Port District has improved. In Division 3, we had a lot of interesting games, the main one being Scotch vs Glenunga. Now, Scotch is sitting 7th in the ladder, whereas Glenunga is sitting 2nd. Not sure if Glenunga underestimated Scotch, but Scotch came away with a 71-point win, kicking 10 goals 14 to 0 goals 3. This is an absolutely amazing win by Scotch. Although they won by 71, they still could have been a little bit more accurate inside the forward 50 to help boost their percentage. But either way, an absolutely amazing win for Scotch, and this may be the beginning of their rise to higher up on the ladder. Also in Division 3, we saw a draw between Pembroke and Flinders Park. These teams sit 4th and 6th on the ladder, so it'll be interesting to see how they play in the next coming rounds. And if this draw has really inspired them to go out a little bit harder next week. In Division 4, Adelaide Uni defeated Seaton Ramblers by 75 points. Best on for Adelaide Uni was Neve Robbins, who kicked a big 5. In terms of goal kicking for the Division 4, Robbins is sitting top for the division with 17 goals in 9 games. However, it is a close contest with other players from Salisbury North and her team, Adelaide University, sitting close behind with a 3-goal difference. In Division 5, we see Walkerville and Athelston. Athelston is sitting bottom of the ladder and Walkerville sits second. Walkerville won, but only by 18 points. Athelston played a great game and made sure Walkerville didn't count them out of the match so easily. It was a tough game, but Athelston should be proud of how they played and the grit and determination they put into the match. This close game should light a fire underneath Athelston and make sure the other teams should not overlook them. Lastly, we head to Division 6. The ladder is the one thing that everyone has been wondering about. Ingle Farm and Parry Hills are sitting 3rd and 4th on the ladder. The only thing boosting Ingle Farm is their percentage. However, it's important not to count out O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale too quickly, as although they are sitting 5th, this week they defeated Ingle Farm by just 10 points. They're only sitting in 5th because they had one loss more than Parry Hills and Ingle Farm, who have a draw each. This division is really going to be a percentage game. All teams need to try and kick as many as possible and be as accurate as they can be. But good news for West Croydon, as they are still undefeated this season and are a definite final contenders. Hopefully for them, they can keep their winning streak going and finish their season undefeated. But they better watch out for Lockleys, who are trailing behind them in second, determined to break their winning streak. That's all for What Caught Our Eye in the remaining women's division. See you guys next week for round 11.
brings us to the end. The last word of Between the Posts. Alex, it's been a great episode. Obviously, you're out yesterday, had a good game, and this week you'll be out for filming footy at Ross Trevor and PNU, is it?
Yes, it is. It's a top v bottom clash, so looking forward to see how that one goes.
And is that at the Falconry or is that Ross Trevor?
It's at Campbelltown Memorial Oval, so lovely cover rooms there, and thank you Ross Trevor for having us.
Absolutely brilliant place to commentate as well, because you've got undercover in the grandstand, great elevation. Yeah, one of the best places to commentate in South Australia. Of course, thanks to all our great sponsors as well as Filming Footy and Dartfish. Obviously, we've shown a few of them today, which has been great. It was great to connect with them, and we do appreciate their support. We appreciate all you viewers as well who take the time to watch the entire episode, as well as just the parts and pieces that we break it up into. But it's been a huge 10 rounds and another big 8 rounds coming up. But that's all from us today. We're back next week with more
Between the Posts.